It's Universal Credit vlog, but it's about when you claim for Universal Credit, you can't have savings of more than 16. I think it's about £16,000, because there was a thing about a lot of people are actually unemployed and had to claim Universal Credit, but they had too much savings that they couldn't afford to. They couldn't claim Universal Credit because they had too much in savings. I think that's right. So that I think it's been about a year and a half. I've been long-term unemployed. It used to be about £16,000 that if you had savings of £16,000, you can't claim unemployment benefit or Universal Credit. How many people in the last year or so, in the last year, 2 years, Bitcoin's gone from about, less than £15,000 to £45,000 per Bitcoin. I just checked the prices just now, and Bitcoin is £35,500 per Bitcoin, and Ethereum S, or S as it's known, Ethereum S, is £2,500 an S per S, £2,500 per Ethereum. So let's just, if you have 7, I just wrote down 7. If you own 7 Ethereum, you've got more than which can be liquidated instantly, pretty much sort of sold. That liquidates at more than £16,000. 7 Ethereum, cryptocurrency, something like that. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, Ethereum, Litecoin, whatever. Dogecoin, whatever. If you own 1 Bitcoin, you own too much to claim Universal Credit. If you own half a Bitcoin, which is 35, which is 17,250. Yeah, 17 is 34. 17 and a half is 35. Yes, it's about 17,000. So it's still more than 16 grand. Yeah, half a Bitcoin is worth more than you're allowed to have in savings. It's not savings, but it can liquidate at 17,000 pounds. So it's fine, and I think Bitcoin's only going to go up. That's my personal opinion, but don't buy Bitcoin based on that. Then, if you've been left a 2-letter, you may have been left a 3letter.com website address. Yeah, that liquidates at more than 16 grand, which would mean that you have more. Universal Credit could say to you, you can't claim Universal Credit because you've got a 3letter.com which liquidates at over £16,000. Ironically, after yesterday, when a 3letter.com sold for $2 million, which is 1.5 million, approximate. Well, about that, 1.5, about 1.3, 1.5 million pounds for a 3letter.com. But even the worst 3letter.com will sell for, that means nothing, will sell for more than £16,000. So if you've got a 3letter.com and you're on Universal Credit, that's more than, even though it's not savings, it's effectively instant cash, which Universal Credit could say, we're not going to pay out because you own your assets worth more than £16,000. On Universal Credit, you have to say that if you own shares, many people own shares. Many people have owned shares for years and years and years. If you've got shares, you can't claim Universal Credit if the shares are valued at more than £16,000. But the problem is that because Universal Credit does not recognise digital assets, it doesn't recognise the value of Bitcoin. On the form, it did not say, it said shares. At the time I had shares worth about 15, 20 quid. Thousands of shares, but only worth 15, 20 quid because I bought them at the next fractions of a penny each. But because they're shares, you've got to say, you can't not say you got shares if you've got shares, right? Even though they're only worth less than 16,000. I said from the start, I own domain names. I've got a domain name portfolio. I said that from the start. So if a domain does sell for more than, and I own now, a lot of .xyz domain names, single words, are selling for thousands of pounds. I own a few single word .xyz that I've bought for 70 pence, but they could sell for more than £16,000. I've stated that I own domain names. Again, there's people now with cryptos that don't realise how much crypto has increased in value, that their universal credit claim could actually be void if they own too much assets. Mine, again, my portfolio has a value, has an independent value. It couldn't be liquidated at that because there's nowhere in the high street that would actually liquidate it for the value that it is. So it's only worth what a person is prepared to pay. And if I don't add any more domain names to it, it will deteriorate in value and it will be worth nothing. But Universal Credit can't liquidate it either. So